It looks like a large group of people running away from that skirmish line. What prompted that? Hard to say. It wouldn't be the first time if less lethal rounds were fired in their direction. That may very well be what prompted that little hustle there. You saw a large group running in the opposite direction of those police officers, but you can see them continuing to advance here. Every few minutes, they'll walk up a few steps at a time, getting their way further towards the west here and clearing out this quad. Right now, you can see them holding firm with that skirmish line, not letting anybody behind it, and there really is not a whole lot of debris left in their way as there was earlier as they were continuing to reconstruct that barricade. They are pretty much out of materials, so at this point there's not much in the way of those law enforcement officers from continuing to advance and slowly detain those individuals. You can see what remains of that encampment is now essentially piles of trash that are already in the process of being boxed up and loaded into box trucks to be hauled away, and that process is happening immediately as the quad is being cleared here, but not without very, very tense moments. This unruly crowd taunting the officers, screaming and yelling, and occasionally, as they try and move in on that crowd, you see them occasionally, again, once in a blue, they will be forced to use less lethal weapons, guys.
Hey, Chris, I wanted to ask you quickly as we continue to watch your shot, but Jory made an interesting point, and then you kind of proved it, Chris, when he was talking about the drones that are flying around.
He's changing batteries.
And the drones are flying around, Chris. Jory had pointed out that some of them are actually going higher than the helicopters. You captured one just at the start at 7 o'clock right here. What's your observation of that?
Well, I got to tell you, when we heard that caught our attention right away. Now, most likely, he was talking about the police helicopter that may have flown underneath one of those drones. That is extremely dangerous. It's hard to overstate just how dangerous that is. And what that tells me is that that was not a law enforcement drone. That means somebody down there in that crowd, and maybe even more than one person down there, are in control of drones in the area. We saw that as well at UCLA just a couple of weeks ago. But in this case, when you hear about drones flying over helicopters, that is about our worst nightmare up here in AIR7 HD. However, by all indications, we can tell you that it looks like it may have been a law enforcement helicopter that was flying much lower than us up here that may have flown underneath that drone. But we saw that white DJI drone flying right over the crowd. It does appear that these are all protester drones. We have not seen anything yet that looks like it may be related to a law enforcement drone. Just to kind of clear the air there, but it's something certainly that is capturing everybody's attention whenever you hear about a drone flying in the midst of helicopters. What they're doing with that drone is a whole other question. But in any case, you can see that that skirmish line of officers continuing to advance on the crowd, and every time they do so, the crowd gets more agitated and starts, in some cases, even running away when they hear those rubber bullets being fired, David.
Yeah, that drone is really fascinating. That it is an interesting and a very dangerous tactic where a tense situation will turn into a catastrophe very quickly. So keep an eye on that.